I remember, I think that was 2 years ago when I was told about savings. I had this meeting. We were like a couple of young guys, and then we had read this book, very favorite book of mine, The Richest Man in Babylon. You can Google the book; it's one of the best books ever. And I've always been of the concept of saving. Now, if you watch my video throwback, you'll see me talk about savings, and it's something I've been doing, and it's still something I would recommend you do. I see a lot of people within this period complain about hardship. Now, the only reason why the rich rarely complain about being broke, it's not really because they have enough, but it's because of the way they see money, right? They see money as something that it's easily to lose. I mean, everybody knows money is easy to lose, but not everyone is able to understand that. Okay, if this is easy to lose, why don't I make ways to secure it so I don't easily lose it? It's more of we all know how stubborn goat is. So you have a goat before you know your goat is going astray. It has strode out from the compound, and yo, neighbors, have you seen my goat? Then someone is having pepper yam soup somewhere. You can actually accuse them of your goat. What I'm trying to say in an essence is we all know goats would easily wander away. So what we do is in our homes, especially back then in the village, there will be this wood carve wood, and inside the compound we'll have a place to be putting the goats. Now anybody who goes to the farm will just cut little grasses, and while they're coming back, they just throw it inside that little. I think is it called a barn? It's not called a cage, or what? That's something we used to call it. I think it's a barn or something. Now we'll throw um the grass inside there, and that's what the goats end up eating. Now we keep nurturing these goats till the goats get fat, and then on Christmas Day or Easter, whatever celebration, that goat is slaughtered. Now, most times we're very lucky, and the goat would happen to be a female goat that is pregnant, and just because she's in a barn, she'll be able to stay there long enough to give birth. And once she gives birth, before you know, one female goat you bought is already, giving birth to lots of goats. You're already having like 5, 6 goats. Now, as long as they're all in that barn, those goats will keep, reproducing. And you might, find yourself being in a position where you're now even selling some goats because there will be no space, or maybe you trying to get more space. Now, this whole funny concept of a goat, I want you to now see a different concept with it, and that is with money. Now, you realize that when that goat came in, if you hadn't built a barn around it, you should have, easily wandered away. Now, when I see most people complain about financial challenges, especially this 2023, I get to ask them one very big question: what is your saving habit like? You know, don't you have money you keep, aside? Most people don't save because they don't have. Like, if you don't have enough to save some, it's understandable. But most people don't have enough to save, not because they don't have enough to save, but because they don't have the saving habits. Now, I've seen people who have money, and if they have not spent that money, finish, their body know they okay. They would want to look for something they don't need, go for shopping, call a friend, everywhere good, everyone should come around. They want to do giveaway. They're happy fellows. And then a few weeks or months later, you now see them again, isolated. And that is, I think they said when a man is broke, it's when he has the biggest wisdom, because then you start planning. And then once money touches the hand again, the same thing happens. They spend it. They tire on the world, they don't become billionaires because they made a billion and they spent it the following year. It's because they put a ban around it, nurtured it, and allowed it to give birth to more wealth. It's easy to start this 2023. Your friends won't be there when you need them. Have you been broke and you held your phone and you're going through your entire contact list, but there's no one you can call to ask for money because one is going to be awkward, and two, you wouldn't want rejection, and three, maybe you don't even know if they have enough to give you. And it's really funny how you'd be broke or someone would be broke, and while they're in their broke states, they can't call anyone, they can't reach out to anyone, they're just there. And then the moment they see little cash, the same people you wouldn't be able to call when things are hard are the ones you're telling to come and celebrate with you. I mean, it shouldn't it be people who go through a whole lot celebrating with you? I think the poor really are poor because of their mindset. So I would advise you. I know you would not listen, only few would, but if there's anything you would please take away from me or my entire video series, is to save. There's a point you would never. There's a reason you would never see me complain I'm bankrupt. I might not have enough money to purchase something I want, maybe something big, maybe the next engine, the next machine, something that will facilitate my business. I might not be able to fund it, but you rarely hear me tell you I'm broke to stupor that I can't feed. It's not possible. And it's not really because I've had so much, it is because I'm constantly trying my whole possible best to make sure that money is kept for emergency. And I learned this when I read The Richest Man in Babylon. I read that book when I was in school. That was a very long. That was even before I got to school. Yeah, because I broke my hand. If you look at my two hands now, this hand is stretched. Now look at this one. Good. I had a very bad accident while I was young. I fell from the bike and then a bus hit me. I think whenever I'm chance I can go for surgery, but up to today my hand has not regained. It's like this. Now, why this hand was broken, I was almost dead. Like, and when they rushed me to the hospital, because then I wasn't with my dad. Everyone knows the story. We don't want to go through there anymore. But I mean, yeah. And I was left to fend for myself. I had no single one night at that period. I can remember how I called every single friend I was, telling them I was in the hospital, and everybody was sending me prayer point and telling me to just pray. And I had to sell my laptop then, my phone, and what else? At the hospital. Not until I managed to reach my mom. We weren't really the best of friends, but she came through for me in that period, and I don't think I will ever forget it. But while I was there, I realized how constantly I would always lend money to people, and how I would, you know, want to inconvenience myself for them. But every single person I had reached out to were giving me, stories of how they've budgeted their money for something else, even if I was at the hospital. And then I'm not a religious person, I'm an atheist actually, but there is this Bible verse that I love. It says, the wealth of a rich man gives him security, or is it gives him a fortress, or is it gives him a security, or it gives him something like I think if I Google it I'll be able to remember. But it was basically saying that the wealth of a man, shelters him and secures him. And ever since then I always had this mindset of, you know, always making sure there's an emergency fund, always making sure I can save as much as I can. It is not something you should do for fun, it is something you should do for your own dear life. Money in this modern day world is your next savior. Now, um if we have a recession at the moment, or if things are getting bloody in the country, the people who would first find shelter and leave the country are the people who have money. For those of us who easily eat every single thing that come to our hand would likely stay there forever. I've been in different positions where something was really very urgent and there was no way to make movement, and I had to fly a jet just to make sure I made up. One of them was when I wouldn't want to go into my. I think I'll cut this side out. It was painful. Everyone can remember 2021 when I lost my son. Yeah, so it was bad. I was supposed to be there, but I kept procrastinating. And finally, I was told one Thursday evening that I had lost my son. It was one of the most horrible moments of my life. And I left every single thing I was doing. I rushed to the airport. They said there was no way to, you know, head to Abuja that period. I was in Lagos and I almost died. When I mean I almost died, I mean I almost died. If I had stayed longer in Lagos, I would have not. I only have a son, and after losing him right now, I'm just left with two girls. So then it was crazy for me. I had to charter a whole jet, and I was crying all through. But I was happy I was able to see him that day, because I don't know what it would have been like if I was alone. And somehow as well, I felt if I was, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. I sometimes sorry I've gone into that memory lane again. Yeah, okay, Junior. Remember seeing him and I will tell myself this is younger version of me. No problem though. I'm happy I had a lot of money saved up then to be able to go see him lying down at the hospital. I'm not gonna get emotional. It's long gone. I'm strong. I'm a man. Yeah, it's about savings. I mean, if you don't want to save his own cup of tea, I wasn't hoping this video will end this way. Okay, see you all. This is the dannyokec for the 23rd of February 2022. I can't say.